what's up, Loyal, and welcome back to the Cover 3. I'm your host, Rob Fredrickson, and joining me is James Randazzo and a newbie, Sean Kilkenny, but he is a senior, so you probably do know him. So, guys, let's talk about topic one right now. We got the World Series. I know it's old news, but we do have to talk about it. The Cardinals won in 7 games. They defeated the Texas Rangers. Tony La Russa announces right after that he retires. He has 3 rings. But, James, do you think he should have stuck around? Maybe he could have had a few more?
No, I think it was Tony's time to go. He managed for 33 years. He won World Series with 3 different teams, and no one else can really just go out on top like that. So I think it was the right decision.
I thought it was the right decision. We're talking about a guy who's revolutionized the way the game has been managed, an intense manager who is known for putting lefties and righties, working with the bullpen. You talked about James, 3 World Series championships. I think it's his time to go. He's dedicated his life to the game, 33 years. He wants out. I say we give it to him.
Great man, great manager.
Yeah, I mean, like you guys said, if he wants out, then you have complete right, Tony La Russa. You paid your dues in the MLB, and you're going down as probably, I think they're saying, a top 5 manager of all time, and I can completely agree with that. The guy hasn't had the best talent in the past years, and he's always had a good team. And this year, I mean, he had the talent, and we saw the Cardinals go all the way. Congratulations to them. And Tony, if you want to get out of there, you can do whatever you want, but he might come back. You think he'll come back, James?
No, I think he's done.
This is it?
It's done.
Sean, you think?
I think he's done.
He's done. All right, well, you heard it from them. Tony La Russa's, that was his last game, and he won a World Series. Not too bad. But, guys, now that there's a vacancy in the Cardinals management spot, James, who do you think should take over?
I think it's going to be Ryan Sandberg. There's been rumors, and the Phillies have allowed the Cardinals to talk to him. So, I mean, he's a great manager. He was a great player. He went to 10 All-Star games, won 9 Gold Gloves, and he's arguably the best second baseman of all time. So I think he's going to get a shot, and I think this might be a shot right here.
I think if we want to talk about a guy at the big league level who's had success, we got to go Francona, and he's got to manage the Cards. We're talking about a guy who's managed expectations, managed egos, and walked out of Beantown with 2 titles. Got to be Francona.
I like where both of you are coming from, and Sean, I have to say, I heard this on ESPN, Terry Francona, and it just seems so obvious. You have a guy, you have a team who just came off a World Series, and who's better than a guy who's already won 2 World Series? Terry Francona. It just seemed like he wasn't in the best situation in Boston anymore after all those things came out about the clubhouse drinking and eating during the games. So now he's got a team that was just there, and they could easily be back there next year. James, anything else?
I kind of feel bad for Ryan Sandberg too, though, because there's a vacancy in the Cubs spot. He's a AAA manager, and Theo Epstein doesn't even allow him to interview for a job. I mean, Sandberg said he had no problem with it, but I mean, he said it was a class act for him to even call him and say that he wasn't going to be able to interview. But I think it was a mean move right there,
or maybe a mistake on Theo's part.
Yeah,
I disagree. Sandberg's already interviewed with the Cubs. He didn't pan out the first time. If they liked him that much, he would have been the manager to date, and he would have had some success.
I mean, it's a new general manager. It's a whole new slate. They could have at least let him interview.
He's not making to make noise with the hometown fans here. He's looking to build a winner, and he doesn't do it with Sandberg.
Both very good points, and I like the little hostility going back and forth here. But, guys, we got to move on. We have a few guys, some big-name free agents who may not be in the same uniform next year. Let's start with the defending World Series champions right now. Albert Pujols just had a tremendous World Series, tremendous playoffs. But, James, is he going to be in a Cardinals uniform next year?
Yes, I definitely think he's going to be there. I mean, he got his ring there. He's very comfortable there. And although La Russa left, I mean, I just don't see any other team besides Yankees and Red Sox who would pay them. And they both right now have perennial all-stars, so I think he's going to stay in St. Louis.
I agree with James 100% here. He's got his family there. That's where he built his foundation and where he started his career. It's where his legacy is. He's already won 2 titles. He just brought 1 home. They're going to pay him the money he wants. He just drove his value up. And the Cardinals are going to stick around and be a contender for a number of years with Albert Pujols at the helm.
I have to agree with both of you. He's not going anywhere. I mean, he's just, like you said, this is his home now. And, we were talking about it earlier in the season, the contract talks. And Albert did the right thing. He put it off. He said, if we don't get it done by today, I don't want to worry about it for the entire season. And obviously he wasn't worrying about it. He won a World Series, and now I think he'll worry about it a little bit in the summer, but I think it's going to get done for him. So, guys, let's move to another guy. I'm going to throw this at you first, Sean. Prince Fielder, is he going to be a Milwaukee Brewer next year?
He is not. He's going to the Chicago Cubs. Theo Epstein is going to make a splash in free agency. When he was with Boston, they went over. They got David Ortiz to play first, a big bat. who put up quality numbers, and they're going to do the same here and start off with the first baseman position with Prince Fielder come opening day.
Yeah, I have to agree with Sean. Milwaukee just doesn't really have the money and financially, and I just think it's the right position. Theo Epstein is going to make a splash.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be a Brewer next year. I'm not sure where he's going to go. Cubs seems like a very reasonable decision for him, but I don't think he's going to be a Brewer. I think that the Brewers had their chance this year with that lineup with Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder. I don't think they're going to get much better. That, like you said, they're a small market team. They don't have the money to really add around him. So that's going to be a problem. I think he's going to go somewhere else and try and win a World Series with another team. Guys, last guy, MVP season this year, batting champion in the NL, Jose Reyes, injury prone, but is he going to be a Met this year?
He's not going to be a Met. They're already talking about slashing their payroll, 30 to 40 million. They're going to have to go with David Wright, a guy who's the face of the franchise. I think Jose winds up with the Nationals. You know, they just got Bryce Harper. They're getting Strasburg back, and now they need a shortstop, and they're going to sign Reyes, and they're looking to make some noise over in D.C. for a change.
Yeah, I agree. They've already got some pretty hefty deals out there, and they're known to do that. So I think the Nationals is a good spot, and with the whole Bernie Madoff scandal, the Mets are really cutting everything. So I think the Nationals look like a good spot for him.
I agree he might not be there, but I didn't think it would be a tragedy for the Mets to give up their best player, possibly the best player in Major League Baseball. He had a great season. He's so versatile. He could do anything on the field that you want him to do. It would be a shame for them to give him up, but like we said, money's an issue, and you hate to see that when money's an issue, and there's a very good chance he's not going to be a Met next year. I think he will be. I think they'll work it out and find a way, and I think it might be David Wright out the door, but one of those two guys, it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to hold on to. Well, guys, let's move into topic number 2. We have the NFL. Everybody loves the NFL. Let's get an NFL update right now. Week 8 just passed, and we have the Steelers and the Patriots. The Steelers really took it to them. It was a close game, but they won 25-17 in the end. But, Sean, I'm going to ask you, are the Steelers better than the Patriots?
The Steelers are better than the Patriots. You know why? Defense. The Patriots are last in the league in yards allowed, last in the league in relatively almost every defensive category. They can't stop the pass. They can't stop the run. The Steelers, are they old? They're a little old. Mike Wallace is emerging as a wide receiver. Roethlisberger can throw the deep ball. They just got a lot more pieces working for him right now.
Yeah, in that game, the Steelers had the ball for 14 out of the first 15 minutes, and they even had it for 22 minutes out of the 30 minutes in the first half. So they were just controlling the ball, and I really do think they're better right now.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. I think the Steelers are better with the exception of the Patriots' offense being out of control. But like you said, it's about defense. It's about having a balanced team, and the Steelers can do it on both sides of the ball. They have a very good quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger. Mike Wallace, like you said, has been an unbelievable wide receiver this year. And that defense, you can never go wrong with that defense. James Harrison's just coming back as well. Troy Polamalu, you can't go wrong with the Steelers. I think they are better right now, but can the Patriots beat them? I think they definitely can. But we'll see what happens. And talking about Tom Brady now, we know he was on fire in the beginning of the year, guys. But has he cooled down, or have teams really just figured out Tom Brady in that offense, James?
I don't think they will ever figure out Tom Brady in that offense if Bill Belichick's there. I mean, Tom Brady's still doing a great job. It's not like he's playing bad at all. He was just putting up ridiculous numbers that were unquestionably the best that we've ever seen in the first 4 weeks. So I'm just going to say that Tom Brady's a great player. He's going to be playing the G-Men this week, so better watch out for that.
I'm going to stick with what James said. Tom Brady is a great player. No defense has figured him out. It's a matter of the opposing team not being able to put up quality numbers on their defense. Yep. They can't play defense, and thus far that's been the problem for him. It's not a Tom Brady issue. Tom Brady's making MVP numbers this year, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, do you guys think he still has a chance to break Dan Marino's record? Or he definitely has a chance. Is he going to, James?
I said in the beginning of the year that he was going to break the record, so I'm still going to stick with my pick.
Sean, what do you think?
I'm going to go against what James says here. He's got 2 receivers in Deion Branch and Wes Welker, 5'9" guys. They're undersized. They've had some injury issues at the tight end, a spot that's been great for them lately. And I'm going to have to say no. He's not going to have the weapons at his disposal this time around.
Very good point, Sean. I think he still is going to do it just because he is just, and as for the question, is he figured out? No, he's not figured out. He's never going to be figured out. Him and Bill Belichick are just 2 geniuses on the offensive side of the football. And, I think he's still going to do it. He's still on pace to break it. And as long as he doesn't, has a few more 400-yard games, I think he has a good chance. Guys, let's talk about the Saints, who were looking really good for a while there. And then this week, they got blown out by the Rams, who were 0-6. James, how big of a step backwards was this for the Saints?
I don't think it was that far of a step back because I really just think it was a fluke game. You know, they go into St. Louis, everyone's cheering on the Cardinals. You got a lot of emotional support there. And also, the Saints really aren't that good right now, in my opinion. I just don't think they've beaten anyone that great. I mean, yeah, they've beaten the Bears, but they've beaten the Panthers, but they haven't beaten anybody great yet.
Right.
The NFL is a league of parity, gentlemen, and what it comes down to is it's a typical letdown game after a huge win. I think it's a step back to a degree, but I think the Saints still go on and make the playoffs and put up great numbers the rest of the year.
Yeah, I don't think it's that huge of a step back until we see their bounce back, because we'll see how they play next week. If they go in and they don't play a good game this week, it's gonna, that's gonna be tough to recover from a bad loss to a defeated team. And then I don't think I forgot who they're playing this week, but I don't think it was a great team. And if they lose 2 in a row, that would be a big step back. Enough said about the Saints. Let's move into the Ravens. We have the Ravens offense, guys, with the exception of Ray Rice, is supremely struggling. Last week against the Jaguars, it just wasn't pretty. And then this week, Joe Flacco had a lot of passing yards, but he also had 51 attempts, and Ray Rice really had to carry the load. Why are they struggling against these weaker opponents, James?
Well, I have 2 words, and it's Joe Flacco. I mean, he is just not very good right now. I think he has a weak arm, and unfortunately for Dave Campbell's fantasy team, they're not looking good right now.
I'm going to have to go Joe Flacco as well. Let's stick to the facts. He's got 8 TDs, 6 interceptions, 8 fumbles, 4 of which are lost. We're talking 12 turnovers. If you turn the ball over that many times in this league, you can't expect to win many games.
Yeah, I mean, it could go Joe Flacco. It can go, offensive coordinator. I just don't feel like Baltimore has ever had that, explosive offense. The past couple of years, we've been waiting for Joe Flacco to break out of his shell and just, start becoming one of those elite quarterbacks. We talk about it every week, and it doesn't seem like he's done it yet, guys. And, for the hometown Ravens fans, we hope he does, but we'll see. Ray Rice is still killing it, though, and I'm sure he will for a long time. Guys, let's move into the NFC. Now the San Francisco 49ers are 6-1. The next closest in their division is Seattle at 2-5. Is this division wrapped up, James?
Yeah, I just have one word, and that's yes, because there's no one else in that division. Yeah. I mean, they could win 2 games for the rest of the year, go 8-8, and still make the playoffs. So the answer is yes.
That division is so bad. The whole division is a combined 4-17 thus far this season, and we all know with the lockout pending, Goodell decided to push a litany of the games back within the division to the latter part of the season. And with that schedule coming up in the division, with most of their opponents being from the division, I'm saying it's wrapped up already.
Yeah, it's wrapped up. The 49ers look strong this year, and those other 3 teams just look pathetic. You got Seattle, Arizona. It doesn't look pretty. 49ers wrapped that up. Enough said there. Guys, let's talk about the Chargers. They just had a real disappointing loss to the Chiefs this week, 23-20 in overtime. Phillip Rivers botches a snap. What's wrong with that team, James? Is it the coach, Phillip Rivers, or is it just the team in general, not giving enough heart in the field?
Well, I know we always bash Norv Turner, but it really is his time to go. Even though Phillip Rivers isn't playing up to his expectations, their offense just looks weak right now. Their defense, they're not blitzing enough. The linebackers are staying back, and I just think it's time.
I'm going to agree with James. It's got to be Norv Turner. He got ran out of town down in D.C. when he was coaching the Redskins, and they were horrible. And he's about to get run out of town again. I don't know why he got another shot in San Diego. How many times have we talked about this year, previous years, the Chargers underperforming? It's got to be him. He's got to be out.
Yeah, it really is. It's getting old now. We talk about Norv Turner. We've been talking about him since the first episode of the Cover 3. And the guy he doesn't perform, and he doesn't make his team perform. Let's put it that way. Phillip Rivers, not having a great year like you said. I mean, still, it's just there's just too much talent on that team for them to be losing to the Chiefs like that. The Chiefs are not a good team this year.
And they you know what? They should bring Marty Schottenheimer back. He won the European League. Congratulations, Marty.
Maybe
bring him back. Why not?
Playoffs game. All right, guys. We have a few quick updates. The Packers are still undefeated at 7-0. The Eagles have won 2 in a row, looking a little scary now, but the Giants still do lead the division at 5-2. All other opponents are at 3-4. And the Dolphins and the Colts still remain defeated, and it's not looking good period for those teams. But guys, let's get into our fantasy stud. James, who was your fantasy stud from this past weekend?
I had the Lions D, who put up 30 points for my fantasy squad. They had 2 defensive touchdowns, 1 on a fumble recovery, 1 on an interception, and only gave up 10 points to Tim Tebow.
I got to go hometown guy, Ray Rice. Put the whole team on his back. 3 TDs, 63 yards, put up 24 points for my fantasy squad. It's got to be Ray Rice this week.
I got to go with LaShawn McCoy, my Mr. Consistent week after week. 34 points he put up for me this week at 30 carries, 185 yards, and 2 TDs. The guy is emerging as possibly a top 3 running back, maybe the best running back in the NFL. Who knows? Guys, let's move right into topic number 3 right now. We have a Week 9 preview, and we have the game of the week for us tri-state area up to the New England area folk. We have the Giants at the Patriots in Foxborough. Both teams are 5-5. James, who takes this matchup?
I wish I had my Giants hat near me because I'd put it on right now because the G-Men are going to take this. They take the game this week. The Patriots D, like we said, is just awful right now, and I just think that the Giants offense with Eli Manning, who has the 3rd best quarterback rating right now in the league, is just going to get it done.
I couldn't agree more with James, and I'm going to give you a score, 27-24, New York Football Giants. You heard it here first. That's going to be the score. Eli Manning, he's got the best quarterback rating in the 4th quarter. Forget about the 3rd rank. He's got the best in the 4th quarter. He's got 18 come from behind victories. He's going to go into Gillette, much like he went into the University of Phoenix Stadium, and take it right from the Pats.
Wow.
You heard it here first. The Giants are going to cruise and roll the victory this week.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I'm going to pick the Giants. I agree with what they said. Let's move on to the next matchup, guys. We have the Jets at the Bills, a divisional rivalry, and believe it or not, the Bills are leading that division right now, guys. The Jets are 4-3. The Bills are 5-2. James, who's taking that one?
I like the Jets. I think the Bills were just, off to a hot start. They've cooled a little bit down, and I just like the Jets' defense this week.
I like what James has to say here. I like the Jets. Revis is going to shut down Stevie Johnson. He's going to have Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to have nowhere to throw the ball, and that Jets defense coming off a bye is going to look really strong.
I'm going to go with the Bills just because I think the Bills are going to win this game at home. I think what you said, it's going to be a real scrappy kind of battle, I think. I mean, you don't have 2 great offenses out there, and you have 2 pretty good defenses. But I think the Bills will pull it out, maybe by a field goal at the end of the game. Let's go to the hometown Ravens, and they're playing their rivals, the Steelers, who they wiped in Week 1. But the Steelers look good right now. Both teams are the Ravens are 5-2, the Steelers are 6-2. James, who takes this one in the Steel City?
I like the Steelers this week. The Ravens just look awful on offense, and although they beat the Steelers by like 30 points in Week 1, I still think that the Steelers are going to have it this week. Ben Roethlisberger looks amazing, and Mike Wallace is having a perennial year.
Once again, I agree with James, and the Steelers are going to take this game at Heinz Field. If you think Hines Ward is going to let Ray Lewis and that defense come into Heinz Field and push them around again, you got another thing coming. Big Ben is coming back, and so is Mike Wallace, and they're going to throw all over the Ravens this week. Forget about running the ball. They're going to throw it down their throat.
Yeah, if we go by momentum, I think the Steelers are definitely going to win this game. The Ravens have been, like we said, their offense, we talked about it, has been not very good lately, and the Steelers are rolling right now, and they look possibly like the best team in the AFC. So I'm going to go with the Steelers in that game. Let's move into the last matchup, guys. We talked about the Packers undefeated, but they're at San Diego. Is this going to be a bounce-back game for San Diego, James?
No, I think it's the Packers week again. Aaron Rodgers is probably going to put on the belt 4 or 5 times, and I think it's just going to be all Green Bay.
It's going to be all Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is going to continue the success that he's had this season, and the Chargers season is going to go straight down the tubes, much like Arnold Schwarzenegger's governorial regime over there.
Well, yeah, I think this is going to be a bad week for the Chargers. I think the Green Bay Packers are going to go in there and they're going to hand it to them pretty good. But Aaron Rodgers, double check if you understand that from State Farm. But guys, the Chargers don't look good. We know they're not. It's going to be a bad week for them. I have a feeling, and if they do win, congrats. But guys, that wraps up our show. James, you have anything else to add?
Yeah, let's get this lockout deal done. It's pathetic. You guys are arguing about $80 million. Everyone has billions. Let's get it done.
Yeah, we have a bunch of millionaires arguing with billionaires here. Come on. Let's go, people. Seriously.
Yeah,
we want the NBA season, especially in New York where Melo and Stoudemire are looking to take it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. The NBA season should have started last night, but it didn't. But just on Loyola news, we have the men and women's soccer team going to the MAC championships this weekend. So let's wish them good luck. You can watch the games on ESPN3, and basketball season's coming up, so get ready. All right, Loyola, have a good weekend. We'll see you next week.
Unleash the hounds.